Anthony, West Coast, Berbice, New Amsterdam, East Berbice, and of course, right here on the Quarantine Coast. Welcome once again to another program of Issues in the News, where we discuss the important events that would have taken place in our country since we last met over a week ago. And I am sure that a lot of things again would have transpired since we last met. I am sure also that you had a wonderful holiday Easter weekend. I know that I saw thousands, if not millions, of kites dotting the skies right across the length and breadth of this country. So I'm sure that you had a great weekend and that you are now relaxed and prepared for the challenges of the coming week. Many of you may have read in the newspapers a letter written by my friend Abel Sitaram accusing me of publishing racial remarks on this television program. I have said before and I'll repeat that I am hunting elephants and will not be distracted by rabbits. So Abel Sitaram and those of his ilk can continue to write. I will continue to speak against racial discrimination and racism whenever it raises its head in this country. And I will continue to expose those who speak and preach and act racism in our country. Those who want to divide our people will continue to be the subject of my condemnation. So no matter what is written about what I say in this program, it will not, I repeat, it will not persuade me against doing what I'm doing. Having said that, our president was in Region 5 at the Region 5 Regional Commerce Expo, and I saw that he made the statement that 3 sugar estates are safe and will not be closed. Mr. President, that is not enough. That is not enough, because the estates which will be closed by implication are going to be Skeldon, the most important factory in this country, the factory that we have invested the most money in, and that is the factory that we want to work. Why is that factory going to be closed? Enmore is another important factory on the east coast of Demerara. Enmore Estate employs over 2,200 people. Over 2,200 families directly will be put on the red line. And another 2,200 indirectly are going to be affected by the closure of Enmore. So telling us that 3 estates will be safe is not information that makes us comfortable. It is information that causes alarm bells to continue to ring, because we cannot find employment for the thousands of people who are going to be economically and financially displaced when these estates are going to be closed. And we are saying that there is no need to close these estates, that these estates will return to profitability once they are managed properly and once there are changes done based upon consultations and reports that are there. Look at your own Commission of Inquiry. It did not recommend the closure of estates. We paid $80 million, 400,000 US for that report. That report did not recommend the closure of any estates. Why have you tossed that report aside? You selected those people yourself, Mr. President. You didn't consult with us. You chose them. Clive Thomas, and the others who made up that team that inquired into the operations of Gaisuku were all chosen by you. How can you unilaterally and capriciously toss aside and rescind your own report? Nobody asked you to do that. That was a campaign promise which the AFC, AP and you made during the 2015 elections campaign. You said that you will hold a commission of inquiry into the operations of Gaisuku, and you will act upon the recommendations coming out of that inquiry. Well, you have the recommendations. Why are you not implementing the recommendations? How can you set up your own commission of inquiry and repudiate the report? The report did not recommend, as I reiterate, closure of any of the estates. So why are you closing estates? We in the PPP continue to maintain that we are opposed to the closure of any estates. We believe that once the plan which we have left in place is implemented, then the estates can become, Gaisuku can become viable and can become financially feasible once again. And there is no need for estate closures to take place. The country continues and the economy continues to reel from the stagnation that it has found itself in. And there is no hope, there is no impetus, there is no stimulus package which is emanating from the government, from the Ministry of Finance, or from anywhere else that would inject the economy with the vigor, the vitality, the energy that it needs to awake from the economic and financial slumber that it is now capturing. And as a result, economically, things are becoming bad to worse. Protests every day, the rice sector, the sugar sector, VAT on education, parking meters. So you have these pockets of agitation that is emerging, and they are not inspired, they are not encouraged, they are not organized by the People's Progressive Party. These are people who are feeling the effects of the economic meltdown and who are worried, genuinely worried about their future and their family's future, who are taking to the streets on their own initiative. I run a big legal practice, and in that legal practice I am privileged to interact with dozens of people per day in my office, as I go to court, and in the corridors of the court. And wherever I go, people stop me and they talk to me and they ask, when are we going to get these people out of government? How can an economy decline so significantly, so swiftly? How can the government not be able to come up with remedies to rectify the slum into which the economy has descended? And People, as I said, are genuinely worried. People are no longer buying properties. Properties are not selling. The real estate market is dead. I work for most of the auto dealers in Georgetown. Vehicles are not selling. Heavy duty equipment are not selling. I work for the construction companies. They're not getting jobs. The ready-mix concrete company not getting jobs. Wherever you turn, you get the same complaint. And as a result, people are seriously worried. I see now the AFC. I don't know what gimmick they are trying to pull on the Guyanese people, but they are saying that they will seriously review VAT on education. Well, I personally can't believe them, because I sat in the parliament for days debating VAT on education with the government, which included the AFC, included Raphael Truckman, Kemraj Ramjatan, Moses Nagamotu, Patterson, Kathy Hughes, the lawyer from Kanji, what is his name? Charan Das. They passed, they voted for VAT on education. I don't understand how now they have suddenly awakened from some type of trance in which they were apparently in. Because it's not that they were unconscious and somebody slipped it past them. They actually stood up in the parliament and said that that is their decision. They argued for VAT on education. I don't know if they were unconscious, if their brain had shut down at the time, because Priya Manikchand led the debate on our side on VAT on education. And Priya Manikchand was sitting right next to me in the National Assembly. And many of our speakers on the government side during the budget and after the budget, when the budgetary measures by legislation or by bills were being introduced, we had to debate it all over again. And we debated at length VAT on education, VAT on healthcare, and we told them of the devastating consequences that these taxes will have on the education system of our country and on the public health system of our country. And they rejected our argument one by one. So I don't understand now. Raphael Truckman seemed to have emerged from a mental paralysis in which he was in, and now says that the AFC will consider or will reconsider VAT on private education. Well, he sat at the very cabinet that made the decision to impose VAT on education, on private education. So anyhow, if they are able to remove VAT from private education, then they would have answered our wishes. So I am supporting Truckman's attempt at removing it. But I just want to point out that he should not necessarily, and the AFC should not necessarily draw any credit from it, because they were part of the decision to impose it in the first place. You can't now remove an evil that you yourself imposed and then want to take credit for it. It's you who did it in the first place. But we support whatever initiative Truckman will embark upon and the AFC will pursue that will remove VAT on education. private education, because we know that it will have a positive impact on our people. We have said from the beginning of our sojourn on the opposition benches that we will support anything and everything that this government brings forward that is positive and that will help our people. We said from the beginning that we are not going to play politics with important issues as they did when they voted down the Myla Falls project and condemned Guyana to another 20, 30 years of high-cost electricity and poverty. When they voted down the AML-CFT bill, when they voted down the attempt by me to change the customs laws that would have prevented Rhodesia from getting $6 million US dollars judgment against Guyana. All those things were wrong. But this government, while it was in the opposition, was playing politics. It wanted us to look bad. Never mind that they were destroying the country, because as we said since then, and you are seeing it now, they don't care about country. They don't care about country. They care about filling their pockets. They care about power, about staying in power. The leader of the opposition just completed an outreach program in Regions 1 and 9. I was fortunate to be part of the program in Region 1, and we had over 1,000 Amerindians coming out to meet with us. And they said clearly that this is a one-term government, that the Amerindian people are already fed up with this administration. I did not go with the leader of the opposition to Region 9 because I was forced to stay on the coast to deal with other issues, but the leader of the opposition went into Region 9 and visited nearly 14 to 15 villages right across the Rupununi, well into deep south of Guyana. And the response was resounding. All the communities expressed their support for the People's Progressive Party, and all of them signaled their non-support for this government. Significantly, while the leader of the opposition was there, Mr. Norton, I can't remember his full, George Norton flew into Aishalton just to drop off kites. Look at how these people are wasting money. Chartered an aircraft to go to Aishalton because the leader of the opposition was there, just to drop off kites. So he drop off the kites, jump back in the plane and gone. Went to Lethem and held a meeting that only 7 people attended. 7 people attended. Then Mr. Raphael Trunkman flew in with another plane and met with 15 people. 15 miners turned up at his meeting. Then Mr. Joe Harmon flew in with another plane to meet with the people in the rodeo, him and his friends, and then flew across to Martica for the regatta. That is how these people are moving. I don't want to speak into them, but they're just flying across the country using your money and then telling you that they don't have money for essential things. They can't remove VAT on education. because they don't have money for that. But they have money to fly across the country and to try to play politics. But wherever they go, the people are rejecting them. I understand the Prime Minister was here over the weekend, but you're not seeing any photographs. You know why? Because they don't go out and meet people anymore. They are afraid. They are in their vehicles, they come out, they attend an event, and they go back in the vehicle and they drive off. So you don't see photographs with them meeting people. You see photographs with them sitting somewhere in an event. They don't show you what happened before or after the event. You know why that is so? Because wherever they go, people are rejecting them and people are harassing them. They can't face the people of this country. I am not the leader of the opposition, but I distributed kites and walked the streets of about 8 villages on the east coast of Demerara alone. No minister has done that. None. The president went to Buxton and did not enter the village, but stopped at Buxton gas station, where they brought out the kids and he shared the kites at the gas station. And Buxton is one of the strongest APNU strongholds. Yet the president can't go into the village to meet his people. He meets them right on the road, on the public road, at the gas station tarmac. And he distributes the kites and he goes, jumps back into the car and goes back to Georgetown. Look at how the PPP does things and you will see the difference. You will see us sitting in the bottom houses. You will see us walk the streets. Both Afro and Indo-Guyanese villages. Look at the images on Facebook. Look at the pictures that are posted of us in the social media. We don't get too much coverage in the media anymore. But look at the social media, look at the Facebook, and you will be able to see the way that people approach us and the way that people approach them. And that is why they are becoming desperate and they are attacking every day. They are attacking us more and more. And they're talking about jailing this one and jailing this one. Well, we are from the party of Cheddi Jagan. Cheddi Jagan went to jail in the 50s. Jana Jagan went to jail in the 60s. Many of our party leaders went to jail. We come from a tradition of going to jail as part of our political struggle. So when they think that they are threatening us with jail sentences, we are from a party where our tradition is to go to jail as part of the political struggle. And we are prepared to do that all over again for the betterment of the people of this country. We have our foreparents, our forebearers have done it, and this generation of political leaders are prepared to do it all over again. So that will not threaten us. That is part of our political struggle. We went to Mazaruni, we went to Camp Street, we went to New Amsterdam prison, we went to various police station lockups, many of our leaders, including Moses Nagamutu. So jailing and threatening us with jail is nothing. We are prepared to endure that. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. So, Thursday in the Parliament, last Thursday, it was Holy Thursday, very important day in the Christian calendar, but the government chose to debate the important SARA bill. I have spoken a lot about this. As you are aware, Guyanese right across the length and breadth of this country have rejected this bill. Important stakeholders organizations like the Berbice Chamber of Commerce, the Private Sector Commission, the banking sector, the insurance agencies, representative organizations, the Guyana Human Rights Association, the Guyana Manufacturers Association have all said to the government, withdraw this bill. That this bill is going to kill the economy of our country. That the bill is repressive and oppressive. That the director that the bill creates has too many powers. That there are not sufficient checks and balances to control the powers of the director. That state assets is not defined. That this bill has nothing to do with what you are telling the people. That it has to do with a UN Convention on Corruption. That is a complete lie. That the UN Convention on Corruption also deals with campaign financing. It also deals with rules to be implemented in the judiciary against corruption in the judiciary. That the SARA bill has nothing to do with that. And that is what the UN Convention speaks about. That the SARA bill in terms of civil forfeiture of assets is already covered by the AML-CFT legislation. That SARA bill jeopardizes private property. That it does not define what a state asset is, but leaves it up to a director and his most junior staff to determine what is state assets. That you cannot have a bill that jeopardizes private property to that extent. That you are making it too easy for people to lose property that is so dear to them. That the entire concept of the bill is repugnant to justice and to fairness. That it is not the type of law that should be passed in a democratic society. All those arguments were rejected and they brought the bill to the parliament. And they spoke. And all that they can tell you about is that the bill is intended to stop corruption and the bill is intended to recover assets stolen from the state. Absolute nonsense. They were unable to defend the bill properly. They were unable to explain what the bill says. And every one of their speakers was crushed by speakers on our side. And that when I was about to speak, Rachel Trotman shut down the entire debate to prevent me from speaking. So I did not get to speak on the bill. And I was the government, the opposition's lead speaker on the bill. They shut it down completely. We had an arrangement in the chamber of the parliament because I was the acting chief whip in the absence of the leader of the opposition and Comrade Gail Teixeira, who is overseas. And in the meeting, we decided that we will go up to 10 o'clock. They decided that, the speaker and the government chief whip, Abda Ali. I objected. I said, look, this is an important bill. I didn't tell you to fix the sitting for Holy Thursday. So you can't tell me now that Holy Thursday is important to Christians. It is important to Christians. And that is why you shouldn't fix the debate for that day. But you chose that day to fix the debate. And therefore, we would prefer that if we have to shut off at 10 o'clock, then let the debate be adjourned so that our speakers can get to speak on the bill. I was overruled and they said that we'll go up to 10 o'clock. Rachel Trotman shut down the debate at 9 o'clock. Not 10, at 9 o'clock. We didn't even reach the 10 o'clock hour, simply because they don't want our side to speak. 2 lawyers on our side were supposed to speak. Anamaya and yours truly. They shut us out because they don't want us to speak, to expose to the Guyanese people what are contained in that bill. We said that we are not against any bill to deal with corruption. It is us who brought back the Auditor General report in this country. It is us who brought public procurement laws and made contracts go to public procurement in this country. We did that. It is us who passed laws like the Financial Fiscal FMAE, the Financial Management and Accountability Act, to bring accountability in government spending. We did all of that. We signed on to the very convention that they are speaking about, the Convention Against Corruption. We signed on to it. And every major convention on corruption, we signed on to it. So don't tell us about corruption. It is we who said that if you want to know who is corrupt, let us all publish our bank accounts and what we own for the public to see. You publish yours and we will publish ours over the last 10 years. We said that in the parliament and they never took up the challenge. They said no, they can't publish theirs. And they are accusing us of corruption. Can you believe that? Every time we encourage them, we invite them to come and debate with us on corruption, they never turn up. But they want to sit in Kaichon News and talk by themselves about corruption. The amount of corruption that is taking place now, over the last 22 months, have not taken place in Guyana in 22 years. And we have evidence of that. And as time goes on, we are going to disclose the evidence. But back to the SARA bill. If this bill is so important and the bill doesn't jeopardize private property in the way that people are saying that it will be, why are you not prepared to debate it? Why are you not prepared to defend your own bill? You have 34, 33, we have 32. You will win the debate anyhow. So why you can't stand up? You will win the vote. Why you can't stand up and debate word for word with us? Why? There must be a reason why. Because the bill is not what they are telling you that the bill is. This bill does not define state assets. Deliberately, they leave it to the discretion of the director to determine what state asset is. So those of you, the people out there who believe that they never work with government or they never buy a property from government, that doesn't save you. Because this bill, this director, has a power to call you in, a businessman from New Amsterdam, and to audit you. And let us say he audits you for 7 years, and he sees that you have only declared in your income tax declaration $100,000 a month for 7 years, but you have a property that is valued $100 million. When he checks the two out and they don't reconcile, he has the power to draw the conclusion that you evaded taxes to buy that property. And that property becomes state property. That is what they're not telling you. So your house, every house in this country, can become state property when this law is enacted. Because if you are unable to show based upon your income declaration at the GRA, if you are unable to account for what you own based upon your salary that you declared at the income tax department, then your property becomes state property because the director has a power to draw the inference that you evaded taxes and you took that money and you buy this property. This property now becomes a property for the state. They don't want us to explain that. And that is what jeopardizes every single property in this country, including this television station from which I am speaking. Every single property becomes liable to be seized. And that is why people have to rise up and challenge this bill. The PPP alone can't do everything. The PPP have limited personnel. Anil Nandlal alone can't do everything. People have to come out and do their share. And these things cost money. People have to pool resources together to retain proper lawyers to challenge this law. Because if this law ever takes effect in this country, it will wreak havoc. Every time you criticize this government, your property will become liable to seizure. Because they have a repertoire of power. When they unleash it upon you, you have very little to defend yourself. And as I said, no one is safe with this bill. None. And that is why they don't want me. They did not want me to speak on this bill. Because those are the things that I would have brought out. They want to tell you, they want to make it appear as though only the PDP former ministers are going to be affected. No, it got nothing to do with PDP former ministers. We have made it clear that we are prepared to defend ourselves. It will jeopardize every single person in this country. And nobody will want to invest in a country where their property is so precarious, the safety of their property would be so precarious, where they can lose their investment at any time. Why do you think I have challenged them? I have challenged them nearly 1 year ago to produce a law that is similar to this one anywhere in the world. I have asked them over a year ago. I may have said so on this television. Produce a law that is similar to the SARA bill. Which country? Just tell me, I will go and find it. Just tell me which country has a bill that is similar to the SARA bill. And I will go and find it. They can't name a single country. Because a bill like this doesn't exist. A bill like this is not catered for in the civilized democratic world. It will not exist anywhere. The harshest piece of legislation you will get is the anti-money laundering, countering the financing of terrorism piece of legislation. And the terrorism bill or terrorism act. I dealt with those things. I negotiated those laws at the international level, so I know about them. This one here, I don't know, they drafted this one by themselves. England had one that was slightly similar, and they don't have a written constitution. And they were forced to scrap it, and it was nothing close to this. Nothing close to this. When that law is assented to, you will mark my word, and you will see what will happen in this country. So, rather than debate the bill, now these are people who during the election time and so on would have told you how democratic they are, that they believe that the parliament should be the discussion forum where it was discuss important events taking place in our country. And every single parliamentary sitting, they are shutting down the debates. And they have the speaker on their side. He only hears noises from the opposition side. He doesn't hear his hammer, his gavel doesn't bang when there is a noise coming from the government side. But once I say something, or Manik Chand says something, or Ganga Prasad says something, or Zulfikar Mustafa says something, he bangs his gavel. Only then he hears. There's a lady named Simona Brooms who talks like a radio non-stop. Ramjatan is half of the time drunk and he preaches like an old man in the parliament. Like an old man just talking all the time when they're drunk. And the speaker doesn't hear him. But once I say something, or somebody in the government side says something, the speaker hears that. And we are never given extension of time to speak. So you're getting repression and your freedom to speak in the parliament is taken away from different angles. When the speaker gives you allowance to speak, they shut it down from the floor by using their one-seat majority and passing a motion to end the debate. You know what is the amazing thing? Is that I predicted every single thing that is taking place in this country. I predicted it to you, the people of Berbice. I did it on Pearl Television, I did it on NCN, and I did it at several street corner meetings right across the Quarantine Coast and West Coast Berbice. But you all didn't believe me. You didn't believe me. And it is amazing. I am myself shocked at how accurate I was in predicting what will unfold in this country if the PPP loses the elections. I am shocked at how accurate I was, because every single thing that I said is coming to pass. Every single thing. The economic degradation I spoke about, the violations of the Constitution, the violations of freedoms that will take place in the country, the closure of estates, every single thing I predicted. Every single thing. And now, you know, it's coming to pass one by one. The phones have been going, so we will take a few phone calls in a short while. Another thing that I want to briefly speak about is the approach of this government on important matters. Imagine Mr. Joseph Harmon, a good friend of mine. I've known Mr. Harmon for many, many years, long before I may have known some of my own PPP comrades. And Mr. Harmon, you can recall, went to China and came back with Brian Tiwari on a private trip. Remember, that caused him a lot of problems. And said that somebody on behalf of the PPP government collected $5 million US for the sale of GT&T shares to a Chinese company. Recall that? The government of Guyana shares to a Chinese company. That's somebody in the PPP government. And for a year and a half, they have been peddling that story. I spoke out about it. Former President Ramatar spoke out about it, denying it. Former President Jack Dale denied it. And still they repeated this thing until last month. The Chinese people come here themselves to ask for some more time to pay the $5 million US. And these guys get away with a lie like that. Now, say Mr. Harmon, out of the blues, they can't find the Milo Falls contract and they blame the PPP government. What are we going to do with the Milo Falls contract? There is a copy of the Milo Falls contract in the AG office. There is a copy of the Milo Falls contract in the Ministry of Finance. There is a copy of the Milo Falls contract at NISIL. And there should be several copies of the Amaila Falls contract in the Ministry of Works and in the Office of the President. I don't understand this government can't find the contract and blames the PPP that we have the Amaila Falls contract is a thick document like this. What will we do with it? When we needed their support in the Parliament in 2014, I think, a whole delegation of them went to meet President Ramatar and they asked for all the documents in relation to the project and we gave it to them. We gave them the financial papers, we gave them the contract, we gave them the road contract, we gave them some feasibility studies that were done. We even brought in the people from Blackstone to meet with them. We hired a 3-chartered plane, took them to the waterfalls to see the project and to see the road. And of course they don't read anything. So they never read the documents. They don't even know that they have it. Then when the government changed, Brassington gave them CDs, several CDs with important documents, which include the Amaila Falls contract. And they can't even find a document like that. That is the level of incompetence that we are speaking about. And the way that they lie about these things. Look at Basil Williams. How many lies that man has told since he took office. Remember, he was trying to seize 2 lands, pieces of property, compulsorily acquired 2 pieces of property next to the ministry. And when the story came out in the Stamford News, the man denied. And he published documents in the official gazette to confiscate these properties. Then he discovered the Rhodesia judgment. When the judgment was granted, I spent hours and hours on the television and in the newspapers explaining why the judgment was granted. Look at how he lied about what happened to the judge. That he never threatened the judge the way that I said he did it. And then the judge's letter was released. And the incident, according to the judge, happened exactly the way I said it happened. And these guys walk around with a straight face. And the president does them nothing. They could just repeatedly lie and lie and lie. Basil Williams goes around the world telling everybody that PPP caused Guyana to be blacklisted. When the whole world knows that Guyana was blacklisted because of the joint opposition's refusal to pass the anti-money laundering bill. Every little child knows that in this country because we did so many meetings around the country publicizing it. And this guy stands up with a straight face and says that Guyana was blacklisted because of the PPP. I have never seen a bunch of more bare-faced people in my entire life. And you haven't stopped there and you start to take calls now. The phone is going all the time. Callers, please be brief, to the point, and let us discuss serious issues. Call here on the air.
Good night, darling.
Good night. Where are you calling me from?
Sorry for the Edward.
The Edward, yes.
I see the mention concerning the Amaila Falls project which could benefit all the Guyanese.
That's correct.
Could benefit everybody from.
In the year 2017, the Amaila Falls project would have been completed, right?
Yes.
And in 2018, it would have begun to work. Your light bill would begin to decrease. What is your light bill now?
Yes, I bill about $10,000 a month.
$10,000 a month.
Yes.
Your light bill next year would have been would have decreased to about $7,000 to $6,000 a month.
Yes.
From next year. And every year it would have gotten cheaper and cheaper. Every year. Alright?
Alright.
Good, thank you. But this caller paying a low light bill, $10,000. That's an extraordinary low light bill. Calling on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Good night.
Good night. Where you calling me from?
Hello.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Where-
I call you Kanji.
Kanji, yes.
I listened to this guy Saturday night. The Jatan and Ariel sit around.
Uh-huh.
He talking about the PEP give house lot to every family to PEP.
Abel Sitaram and
Nandala and Ramjatan.
yeah, but they didn't get a house lot too?
I don't know. So I want to know that if PEP, the whole of Kanji and the whole quarantine and your Diamond Estate, if the whole all the house that the PEP give them, they can, then the PEP family.
God, these people are, I don't know, don't bother with them. The people, fortunately, they are in government now, so they can't continue to lie. People are seeing their actions as well. You see, when you are in opposition, you could lie, because people are not seeing your actions. But people are seeing their actions now. Alright, caller, thank you.
Okay.
We have distributed house lots right across the length and breadth of this country. And if they were all PPP people, we would have never lost government. It's as simple as that. Calling on the air.
Hello?
Hi.
Good night.
Good night.
I would like to tell you what Abel Sitaram, what about the money we keep?
Miss, not pollute the program with Abel. See, Abel Sitaram not worth discussing on this program. Alright?
Alright.
Talk about important issues. He's not important. Yes, we don't want to discuss people who are not worthy of discussion. I travel all the way from Georgetown to come to Berbice. I can't come here to discuss people like Abel Sitaram. Calling on the air.
Hello, good night, sir.
Good night.
You know what, if one person has to pay $10,000 for water for a month and have one child,
If a person,
would pay $10,000 for 1 month water rate.
that sounds high.
That's to have that in Crabble Creek.
Uh-huh.
And within 2 months you have to pay $18,000.
No, something is wrong here. Either she has a meter,
Yes, when you go check the meter, the girl told the meter that the meter was spinning, right?
the girl tell the meter,
Tell them that the meter was spinning too fast.
uh-huh.
Then go and check the meter. That's when she has to pay the money. And nothing to do with the meter, but she have nothing.
No, something is wrong. Tell her to write to the Public Utilities Commission, the PUC. They should check the directory, get the address of the PUC, and lodge a complaint with the Public Utilities Commission.
That was why you have to write it, sir.
That's what I tell you. Check the directory for the address.
You get for the paper?
The directory, the telephone directory. Miss, you all have to understand these things, learn these things.
Okay, sir.
You know what the telephone directory?
Yeah.
Right, check there, check under in the blue pages
Yes.
where government offices are, and you will see Public Utilities Commission. Get the address, you can even call and there's a telephone number there. Alright?
I thank you, sir. I like the program very much.
Thank you. It is not possible for a family with one child, to be paying $10,000 water bill per month. There's some defective metering or something there that is not normal. Cannot be normal. Caller on the air.
Good night.
Good night.
Mr. Nandaral,
Yes.
do you know when change is born and the black man always corrupt, then again non-change?
No. We can't talk racism on this program.
But non-black man again change?
Alright, caller. I'm not going to tolerate any person publishing racist comments and racist stereotyping on this program. Alright, I'm sorry, caller. Caller on the air.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Mr. Mr. Nalal. You are doing a wonderful job, you know.
Thank you.
You just can't worry about these people. You know.
I'm not worried about them.
Yeah, you just can't worry about it because
I am here.
they are lying and they are bullying. From opposition to government, they are bullying. Imagine they were in opposition, they are bullying.
Yeah, yeah.
And now they are in government. What will do? They will do with people.
Right.
Look, for instance, Mr. Williams. That's Mr. Bass Williams. But how many lies he tells against their case, the judge, when he harassed the judge,
Yes.
threatened the judge, and you the story you talk about, right? That
The Markeeper press conference and live for hour and a half straight.
Good. Right. And he just can't worry to these people, but, you know, I'm like, like what you're doing here.
We are not worried, you know, we have to expose
We are
it.
fighting, we are fighting.
Right?
We
We
are-
have to expose it and we have to highlight it.
Yes.
Because you
We
got
are
some
fighting.
people who head hard. You understand?
Yes.
So you gotta keep goatee this thing like dog. You understand? Before you get to understand what the issues
and another
are.
thing, I read today an editorial comment, I was Frederick too. This man is a total hypocrite. This man is a madman, silly man.
If you buy the
Man like
fake,
Ravi Devi, man like a lady like Action, and Swami Action, and he accusing people, and he needs qualification to people, and
chief, every society got mad people.
from the AG.
You buy the fake, soon you run mad just like he.
He's a madman.
Don't worry.
And you know, this man is a prime provocateur. Sure, sure in fact.
But why are you reading him?
No, I'm not reading what to
If you read it, you get upset.
Time to me, if you're coming, you will find everything.
Yeah.
You know? So, I want to congratulate you. You are doing a very fantastic, very good job.
Thank you.
Along with the other colleagues.
Thank you.
I want to thank you so much.
Alright. Where you calling me from?
I confirm that.
Albion. Thank you. Calling on the air. Where you calling from?
Hello?
Yes?
Good night, Mr. Manuel.
Good night. You gotta lower your television volume.
Okay.
And where are you calling me from?
Yeah, good night.
Rosignol.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to know why this president can't go on a press conference.
Well, I have said, caller, that this president must be the only president or the only head of government in the entire world that has not held a press statement in more than a year. He should be in the Guinness Book of World Records. Any president of any democratic government, of any democratic country, will want to face the press, will want to be grilled by reporters from both sides of the political divide. Not this president. He selects two reporters who speak to him on a television program every fortnight. And that is his idea of speaking with the press.
Okay. And the next question I'd like to ask
Yes.
you, is there is a possibility that we could get election early?
Yes, there is a possibility that we can get elections early. The possibility is, one, if they call elections early, the government, because they have to call elections. And secondly, if one of their members in the parliament votes with the opposition on a no confidence motion. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, Mr. Manuel.
Where are you calling me from?
Number 72 village.
72 Village.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
And I'd like to tell you, I always watch your program every Tuesday.
Thank you.
And
A lot of people has watched it on that side.
thank you for the free tour.
do a lot of people watch the program on that side?
Of course.
Okay, I'm happy.
And see what happened. I'm an ex-military man from overseas.
Okay.
I live in foreign sort of 1 year. An ex-soldier.
Uh-huh.
And only a couple of years now I get into the party.
Okay.
But I like to meet you personally one day.
Alright, well, once you're in the party structure, we will meet. Don't worry. The party structure by its very nature will bring us together. Alright?
And I get off because I'm an administrator.
Okay.
So that's my skills in my category.
Okay, caller. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So we're getting calls from all the way at 72 Village. Calling on the air.
Hello.
Hi.
Good night, Mr. Nandalal.
Good night, good night.
I call from Skellen.
Scale them. They're excellent.
Yes.
I'm getting a lot of calls tonight, man.
About this election commission,
Aha.
right? They set up criteria there.
Yes.
But you can't find one person to put in there.
I wrote, do you read the articles that I normally write?
Well, I see them want to put a lady, one judge, which is the lady's bias.
I know, but
Right? But when I say, we people, right, have to stand up when they decide to put the lady go out and flat yard. How dare?
no, caller, first of all, they can't put anybody that they want.
Well, that's what they want.
They can, I know they want to, but they can't do that. We will take different actions if that happens.
Because if them do that, we go back 28 years backward.
That's correct. They have to take somebody from a list submitted by the leader of the opposition.
Definitely.
Alright?
Definitely.
And by next week Tuesday, by next week Monday, we will be submitting a new list to the president.
But you see, this chap Basil Williams, he has no qualification with certain statements where he's saying he needs to go and check himself up mentally destructive.
How can I disagree with you, caller?
Yeah?
How can I disagree with that? I can't disagree with that.
Because he needs to go check himself up.
Alright.
Because he makes some decision with the president, right? Even the opposition and the people agree with that.
Yes, it's true. He's a strange guy. Alright, caller, thank you.
Okay.
So, we have the Edward Village at one end, Skelder on the other end. Let me see where this call coming from. Caller, you are on the air.
Good night, Mr. Mara.
Where you calling from?
Alvin,
Albion, yes, go ahead.
how early are you going to oppose the bill, the Sarah bill?
Well, I know that the Berbice Chamber of Commerce are strongly opposed to the bill. I know that the Private Sector Commission is strongly opposed to the bill. I know that the banking sector is strongly opposed to the bill. I know that the Guyana Manufacturing Association is strongly opposed to the bill. So I am hoping that one of them or all of them will come forward and start the process. I am going to file, but we should not be leading on every single matter. People have to take matters into their own hands too and represent and protect their own interest. You understand?
Yes, yes.
We didn't lose elections just like that. It is the very people who are now being exposed caused us to lose elections.
That's true.
And they must also help to undo the damage which they have done.
That's true.
Alright?
Yes. Okay.
So, we are, as a political party, we are going to file legal proceedings, but you know, it's not many of us, it's a lot of work. Right? Not many lawyers in the party, and it's a lot of work. We have the Red House case going on, we have 3-4 election matters going on, we have the rice farmers matters going on. You know, there are a lot of legal, political legal cases, and very few lawyers available to help.
And I wish you well.
Alright?
I'm sure never.
Thank you, caller. So we are fastly approaching program time now. Let me take this other caller. Caller, you're in the air.
Good night.
Aha.
Hold it.
Or Blair what, right?
No.
Where?
Listen.
Where?
A million men doing this. He's a brave according to his life. Over you know.
Okay, caller. I get it. I get your voice. I get your voice.
Kemal, Deva Siva, Mozudang Mutu, Kemat, Ramaya, Sabna, you are getting a sunset, Alanga Ocean.
Alright, caller. That gentleman is from West Coast, Barbees. I recognize his voice. We will take 2 more calls and then close the program. Caller, you are the penalty mate caller.
Hi, good night, Mr.
Yes, where are you calling me from?
Cotton Tree.
From Cotton Tree, sorry.
I
Yes.
was just looking at Channel 66 and I was looking at Region 5 press conference.
Uh-huh.
And it was speaking about the development in the region that they got for this year. When I listen to the development, 95% of the development is going to happen in Afro-Guyanese area. That's one. 2, what I want to bring to your attention, I am a PPP councillor protocol in DC. And I feel that I have victimized. Why I'm saying this, I am planting a piece of sucker farm on the government reserve, piece of water farming here. The government machine come to clean that trench, and they dig from stand to bow all my sucker out completely, and the rest of farmer one was remaining standing.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked the RDC, which is the chairman and the vice chairman, I wish to know, let us find out who gives instruction to do this. I didn't get any answers yet. But strongly I feel that somebody is victimizing me, and I feel because I'm a PUC councillor.
Well, how much is the value of your sucker?
I have roughly about 85 roots here in Stockholm.
But why don't you file an action against them?
I guess if you could advise me, because I don't know who to turn.
Yeah, go and meet Adrian Adamaya or any lawyer who can help you and file an action against them.
Thank you, sir.
Get a value for the destruction of your property. Once they destroy your property alone, then you have a good and sound claim against them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your advice.
And that the way that the resources at the level of the government are being distributed in terms of being done in a discriminatory way, that I will have to dedicate an entire program to speak about that. Alright?
Thank you very much.
Do you know a gentleman by the name of Abel Sitaram?
I don't want to hear that guy name.
Must tell him what you just tell me. Alright? Alright, with one final caller, and then we will wrap up the program. We have had a good program, many calls. Caller, you are the lucky final caller. Where are you calling me from?
Phil.
Sorry?
Phil.
Where? Hello?
Yes, hello, sir.
Yes.
Kalinko.
I didn't hear you.
Phil.
Oh, Wim!
Yeah.
The village of the Prime Minister and Ramaya.
Yeah.
Yes, caller.
I would like if you know about this NIS thing with him, whether you have to hire car, hardly hire car, them got to be NIS. So
I forgot to talk about that. Next week, I will get an update and I will update you. Alright? But I know about it because Mr. Ramaya was here last week and he briefed me, but I forgot to get an update and to speak about it on this program. But certainly next week, I will speak on the NIS issue and the hire car driver issue. Alright? Thank you, caller. This is where I have to say goodbye. The operator is signaling to me that I have concluded my business here and the time has expired. So until we meet again, have a great evening and a happy and healthy week, and hope to see you next Tuesday when we continue our discussion of the important issues taking place in Berbice and of course in our country. Thank you and good night.